Their house was, or used to be, almost in the center of the small town of around 1,000 people, surrounded by large trees and neighbors. But as they surveyed the scene in the eerily pink morning, they could see as far into the distance as if they were out on one of the gravel roads that encompassed the farming community they lived in. They had, of course, planned for this. When you live where tornadoes are fairly common, you prepared for these possible moments. But they had never expected this type of almost total devastation.
I am not going to give you $1,000 a night, Van, and you know it.
It was as if the tornado had decided it had done enough damage, and just stopped at the front door of the small motel.
Times are tough, Jamie. Look out there. You gotta get it when the getting is good.
Jamie almost let the old man inside of him out at that moment, but he said a quick prayer under his breath, stepped around the corner, and took the set of keys closest to him from the wall behind Van.
I will pay you when I can.
Come on, honey, room 217. His wife went straight to the bed, curled up in a fetal position under the blankets, and was fast asleep within a matter of minutes. He was still 6 blocks from where their house had once stood when Chuck caught his attention.
Are you doing all right?
Better than some. I saw some kids throwing some bricks at it, trying to get it open. Imagine all this and they're concerned with that.
Jamie stooped down, opened the safe, took out the most important papers and the $8,000 in cash. He salvaged what he thought was absolutely necessary from what was left of their house of over 20 years, helped those he could, and checked on Teresa several times a day over the next 3 days. She had refused to step out of the hotel room, spending her time reading the Gideon Bible from the desk drawer and watching the television when it worked.
I heard over 200. Well, one station said almost 500, but who can you trust?
The armed men guarding the grocery store knew who to let in and who to keep out. It was amazing to some of them just how fast some neighbors could become angry monsters. Steve had let Jamie in and told him to take whatever he needed.
God's been trying to warn us that these times were approaching for quite a while, Steve.
Well, I'm almost starting to believe all that talk of yours, Jamie. Tell Nancy at the counter what you grab. She'll write it down. You can pay me later.
He had handed the young man behind the counter $1,000 in cash the day Chuck had found his safe. Van sheepishly took the money and told Jamie to stay as long as they needed to.
Lots of Gideon Bibles around here, Van. You might want to pick one up and start reading it.
Teresa had started to come around the afternoon of the 3rd day. She was a fine woman. Her faith was not strong, but it was genuine.
What are we going to do?
We're going to pray, listen, and help those we can, sweetheart.
Jamie sat with his wife for an hour or so watching the staticky pictures on the small television.
It's not surprising that no one from outside has shown up to help. We're just a small dot on the map, sweetheart.
Teresa was all in on the 4th day. She spoke to all that would listen, prayed with all those that would. They had broken bread with some fellow believers around noon that day. Well, actually, it was a big pot of beans over a small fire and some rice cakes. But the fellowship was uplifting, and they even sang a few songs together.
I'm sorry about the last couple of days, honey.
Not to worry, sweetheart. Your trust and faith in him has shown to be true many times over, and I'm sure that...
Van saw that the door to room 217 was open. He peeked inside and was about to shut the door when he saw a book lying on the bed. He walked in and sat on the edge of the bed with the Bible on his lap, a Bible open to Revelation chapter 4, and he started reading.